Yeah. Guys, welcome back to the Unbreakable Podcast. My name is Sarah Chan. I am your host. Today we have Marc, Angelos, finance, sales, my guy, Wall Street, all the things. Marc, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. Pleasure to be here.
Marc, tell us about you, what you do. You obviously own a business. You've been on Wall Street for 30 years, right? And I've actually never have had somebody from Wall Street on here. My dad, for anybody who's watching, literally doesn't know that my dad, my mom, and my uncle, back in the day before 9/11, also used to work on Wall Street. So very excited to have somebody that's got that type of finance background. Marc, tell us your story, who you are, why you
Happy to
do what
share
you
it.
do.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. So briefly, I'm 30 years Wall Street. I left there 6 years ago to start my own business, and there's two types of people on Wall Street. Those who are lifers and those who just want to build the reps so they can do their thing. That was me. So basically, I sold AI trading software to hedge funds. I understand the financial technology world, and I left and started a consulting firm that trained fintech companies in communication, basically. What that ended up becoming, and it is now, is deal enablement. I help people sell what they're doing and unstick their deals because they don't know what to say. But what I'm finding is with this whole entrepreneurship movement that we're all living through, your average everyday founder, like just Joe Schmo out there who's doing their thing, they don't know that what they say matters. And in my opinion, this is my theory, as AI makes everything perfect in the content world, it's going to swing back around to what do you say in person because the content opens the door, but then comes the DM or the conversation or the meeting. And at that point, you can either represent your value well or you can't. And so I do trainings for that basically.
I was going to take this conversation to sales and finance, but because of the fact that we do something very similar, but you're in a different industry than I am, I could take it there too. Let me
We'll do
ask you
both.
something. Messaging for people, right? And you brought up something extremely valuable. The actual conversation portion, when it comes to actually writing a DM, you're absolutely right. People don't know what they're doing. And I find it all the time. It's like people don't know how to answer back a DM. It's like, dude, you're a human being and you're an adult for like 30 years. How the fuck do you not know how to answer a DM?
It's getting worse though because people are leaning on AI now to tell them what to say. So let's just take if someone like you
I'm
knows what they're
sorry,
doing.
rewind. What did you say?
I'm saying that like people, the perfect content world is evolving, right? And so people don't know what to say, or even what to think sometimes because they keep referencing the AI. This happened.
Oh
They'll drop it in the
God,
chat. They'll
man.
put,
It's that bad now?
oh yeah, heck yeah.
I didn't
So
even
like
know that because I used to teach people how to actually respond in a DM from a human standpoint, but I didn't know people were like going out there like
I know kids in their teens who have businesses. They're my kids' friends, and they're like everything that happens, they copy and paste it into Chat GPT and figure out what do I say. And like extrapolate that forward, and they've never developed the skills of like rapping with someone like we're doing right now. And I'm not putting them down. Like this is a required element of building your business is being able to build relationships. Like it's always about trust. And people are losing the skill, in my opinion, of building that in person and in live, let's say. They're like this counts.
I don't really know what to say here other than I'm in fucking shock.
I'll tell you this though, someone like you knows their way around DMs, copy. You're an excellent copywriter, like you know what you're doing. Give
Right,
you put you in charge of the words, it's gonna work. And
right,
that opens up all the doors, as you know. I mean, you built a business on this.
right,
At some point, people eventually have a conversation. They meet, like we're doing here,
right,
and they have trouble expressing what they do. You clearly don't. You're good at it. But
right.
most of the folks I deal with are in the tech world, and oftentimes they're challenged in the communication, angle of.
Do you think it's because
Well,
they're nerds?
I wouldn't use that term, but yeah, there's definitely a left brain, right brain thing going on. Like there'll be people who have built a time machine. It's a flux capacitor and it works and it's great, and then they can't explain. And this thing should transform people's lives, but the customer sits across from them and is like, "I'm not really interested," because you didn't do a good job explaining it. And so founders, oftentimes, if they're going to start hiring people or they're trying to pitch a big client, they don't know what to say. They literally fudge the thing right there in person. So like meeting for someone for a cup of coffee or hopping on a podcast. That's your job as the founder.
I'm blown. It's very rare that I'm speechless with a guest, honestly, and this is another podcast. I'm literally speechless right now. Um, I it was so easy for me because I've been talking to adults like my entire life. So I know how to articulate what I'm trying to convey. And I think that goes a big way in sales too, when you know what you're doing. And obviously, you come from finance and the sales backgrounds, right? So when you're talking to somebody and you're articulating what you want to articulate, it comes very naturally to someone like you and I because we've had years of practice with this. But for somebody that doesn't, like maybe, I don't know, like a 13-year-old kid, right? Building a business, trying to build software that actually helps you communicate, I don't think it's helpful because you're to your point, you people do get stuck when you're on a sales call and you don't know how to position it to something that people understand. People get very confused, and that's how you lose somebody on a sales call. Make it super simplistic.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give you a better example. You meet a buddy at Starbucks for a cup of coffee,
Right.
but they have a friend with them that
Speaking
you
of
don't
which,
know. There you go, perfect. And the friend says to you, "Oh, what do you do, Sarah?" And then people freeze because guess what? The words that come out of your mouth next, and you've only got a few seconds,
right,
they'll either lean in and say, "Oh, you should talk to my friend so and so." They do something like that,
right,
or they'll be like, "Yeah, I don't really understand what you just said, but sounds good. Good luck."
right.
And
So,
that's lost opportunity.
right. So what I did back in the day is I'm like, oh, I'm in copywriting. People don't understand what copywriting is.
No,
I would say
definitely not.
9 times out of 10, they don't. And then people would ask me now, what do you do? I'm like, I write content for companies. They're like, what do you mean
Perfect.
you write content? I was like, I write content to produce sales.
Yeah.
They're like,
So
oh
I
shit.
love you went right to the problem, which is a good thing. This is you say, you know how people want to sell more? Like that's what I do. I help them do that. And then they'll immediately be like, "Well, how do you do that?" Oh, funny
Right.
you ask.
And then you get into more of a sales conversation. You're like, interesting. So, what is your philosophy on this? What's the psychology behind this? What do you see in your day-to-day average life that people have a really strong problem with? Because I feel like I have this, and this just keeps going around. That's when the sales conversation comes up, right? And then you start digging into the actual problem of what they have, and then you get into the really, really big root of the problem, and people just don't know how to do that. And I noticed
Nails it.
that, and I'm like, back in the day when I was a kid, I'm like, okay, I can understand to the root of the problem. I used to sell fragrances back in the day at Saks, Fifth Avenue, by the way. And most of the times, I'd always open up a conversation. I'm like, are you looking for something different or something very similar to what you have in your collection? I'm like, if you're looking for something similar, tell me what you have in your collection. I'm like, because I'm
Perfect.
like, I'm very knowledgeable and I can look it up right now if I don't know the fragrance and look up the notes and then tell you based off what you want, what I would recommend, right? And normally 9 times out of 10, the way I did that, credit card.
Yeah. That's right. Because they trusted you, Sarah. You
Right.
built a bridge. But here's the thing, like when I was on Wall Street, it was always just a trust relationship thing. You go to dinners and golf course and all the crap you think about.
Yes.
In the world that I operate in now, this entrepreneurship, digital, whatever we are, that's not the same. Like I didn't even know what a funnel was. I never heard the term in my life. On Wall Street, they don't have the concept of like a DM or being able to get them into a lead magnet. Like that's not how that business works
Right.
out there. So I come into this world and I'm all I know is if you trust me and you don't understand how the thing works, it doesn't matter. You trust me. We're going to do
Right.
business.
I
So I
think
approached
and
it.
I think a lot of the times too, like it's not even about the stupid funnel. I think a lot of people get hung up about the funnel, the VSL, the CRM, and all this other bullshit. I think a lot of people get hung up on that. It's the simple foundational skills. Can you
Yeah.
manage a pipeline on paper? Number one, because if you can do that, you can have software all day long.
Yep. I agree.
You
So what
need
I realized,
foundational skills to run a business. It's not like, oh, get software, blow a bunch of money, and you still don't know how to do it as if you don't have it. You need to go through that. You need to go through that pain.
but you have all these like open claw freedom fighters that are building themselves a gazillion-dollar thing and they don't know how to build trust quickly with a prospect. And that matters. Like
Right.
especially if you're selling 99-cent toothpaste on Amazon, it doesn't matter. But if you're selling anything of significance, people want to know who's the person behind the company. Like I need to for me to get on a podcast, you for me to be on your podcast, Sarah wants to know who is this guy? What's he
Right.
really about? And that's the way people think when they're going to spend money. And that matters with what you say, how you say it, what happens after all the content is where I consider that's what I focus on.
You know what? And that's the thing. I think a lot of people right now, especially on the online space, which you and I both operate in, and I think a lot of people they just get hung up about, having the right foundation, the system, like the fundamental skills. If you don't have that, you ain't gonna make it.
Right.
Sorry.
But see, you know this because you have these skills and you take it for granted. A lot of people don't have the ability in the first few seconds to be interesting, to explain what they do in under 60 seconds in a manner that matters to the other person. You're going to get objections, overcomes, all that stuff. Like you're good at that stuff. Most people aren't.
I'm not even, I wouldn't even go as far to say as I don't even deal with price objections. The price is the price. Either you want it or you don't. And just tell me straight
Right.
up that you don't, or you need a more of an explanation, right?
But you're confident enough to have that, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people, they fold.
Right. And that's what it is. And I see a lot of young kids starting high ticket sales companies, and I'm like, this is all bullshit. I'm like, old school people that come from New York and come from Wall Street, they don't put up with that shit either. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, and
100%.
you know that I'm right because my dad told me about this too. All the
Your
wise
dad's right.
guys in the old school finance bros from Wall Street, they don't put up with price objections. Why? Because back in the day, they're like, you want it or you don't. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Make up
Yeah.
your mind because I don't got all freaking day to bust balls.
A
Right?
100%. That's it. That's it. And you know what's funny? People don't recognize that real operators do that. They just think
Yes.
everyone's afraid. Right. You nailed it. You put your finger right on it. Go ahead.
Let's go into that because I feel like a lot of people they beg for sales all day long. I don't sit here and beg. I don't. You don't want it? Done. Move right along, right? But people, I think they're in survival mode a lot of the times when they're starting a business and they're like, oh, like maybe how do I get better price objection? I'm like, first of all, I don't do price objections over here. You don't want it? Buy. Get off my calendar, right?
Right.
I'm like, you're the one who inquired. You approached me. I didn't approach you, right? Unless I actually did approach you in this time around, which which is much higher because I have automation that does it for me, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. Like, do you feel like people just, how do I say this? Like, people just constantly put on this facade, like, I have to get better price objections just so I can make sales happen? Or is it a
Yeah.
confidence
So
thing?
the way I always say is selling is helping. That's it. There's no magic here. People think, what's the magic words? Robert Cialdini, how do I persuasion? If I put the right words in the right order, I get them to buy. Like
Right.
that's not how it works. It's about building trust. So at the end of the day, if you don't trust me, it doesn't matter. But when you do trust me, well, now we've got a platform on which we can talk about pricing if we need to, but probably it's not going to matter. If you really believe the thing I'm telling you is going to work for your business and you trust me as a person, like I'm integrity, character, all that bit, you're gonna be like, yeah, okay, let's see what it does because you trust me. So, for example, I give on some of the trainings I'll do like one off $97 just to train people on networking or whatever. And you don't like it, 100% money back. I don't care. For 97 bucks, I'm not going to retire to the
Right.
Bahamas. So, like, people aren't comfortable with the fact that like yeah this is going to be either you trust me and we do it or we don't like you say you're confident to say this is the price is the price. There's no co- twisting the words and try to get them to say it and agree with you. Just be like this is what we, if you like it you buy it and if you don't you don't. So I view it as this is a trust building game relationship. However you want to define this, we have a relationship now, you and I, and forever after going forward, if ever you were to ping me or I would to ping you, there'd be a response. You want to get to that phase with everyone you engage with. I feel like selling is helping to me means when you have an interaction with someone, even if they don't buy, do they leave there in some way, shape, or form better? You're the same way, by the way. Did you make them feel comfortable? Did you give them some contacts? Did you help them understand their own situation deeper? One of the old tenets that I used to teach was if people, it's a good meeting, sales meeting, even if they don't buy, if the person, the prospect, would have paid money for that meeting with you.
Mm.
That's it. Like you want to
That's
leave
a
everyone
good
so
one.
it's
I never heard that one.
yeah, it's me. But like if you have an interaction with someone and they were like that woman has her poop together. Sarah is on it. She comes to mind again later. It's funny how people come back around. Like the sale, only 3% of people are ready to buy at any one point. This is data statistics. I didn't make this up. So 97% of the people you're talking to, they're not in the buying moment.
Right.
However, you impressed them. They would have paid money for that meeting. They liked you. They trust you. Guess what's going to happen down the road?
They're gonna buy from you because they're gonna be top of mind.
Bingo. And that's all the after content thing. Like the content matters because it starts the relationship. What you do is vitally important because it expresses all the important things that people don't know about someone. But then there's the other piece. You have to have all of it.
I think too, wow, very valuable stuff that you just said, by the way. I'm not
I
gonna
appreciate that. Trying
diminish
to bring
that.
value to your audience.
People, it's not even just my generation that I noticed that can't hold a conversation, even when it comes to dating, which is a whole nother topic that I
Oh
could
yeah,
get
for
into for
sure.
5 hours for.
It's not a
It,
generational thing, but you guys had it harder. That was not fair. What happened with the whole COVID thing?
well, no, because I can hold a conversation with someone that's twice my age, no offense, like you,
You're
and
doing
be
it. Yeah,
just
I know.
fine. Right, because I'm a grown adult and I know how to have
Yes,
a conversation, right? The problem is even in people in your age, they don't know how to hold a conversation. It's
that's for
like
sure.
you
Well,
didn't
I'll
grow
tell
up
you
with.
why. They
Go
look
ahead.
down. It's ego. People feel like we've had this conversation privately.
Hmm.
People feel like someone younger doesn't have the life experience to be able to hold their own, and that's not true. Like if you, I don't know what you've been through. I mean, I know a little bit about what you've been through, but like people have their own experiences that they bring to the situation, and just because I got a few years on you doesn't make me better in any way, shape, or form. Because I don't know what you've been through. And by the way, I could have been a soft marshmallow life my whole time. I just happen to be older. I tell my kids they're teenagers. Just because someone is older than you, that doesn't mean they're better in terms of sports, in terms of brains, in terms of any of it. They're just older.
Yeah, I always say now, like that person's got more mileage on you, right? That's a very old school thing. I know it is because I got Gen X parents for that,
Yeah,
right? Yes, they got more mileage on you. But guess what? There's a golden opportunity between my generation and your guys' generation because no disrespect, your generation does not know how to use a computer. It's
that's for
obvious.
sure. That is
That's
100%
obvious
for
and
sure.
it's clear as day. And that's not to
No,
say
no
that
argument.
we're better than you. That's to say that there's a golden opportunity for our generations to intertwine. Here's the problem that I keep saying too, is that a lot of your generation is like, oh no, don't give the kid the merit to like actually succeed, but you'll shut us out and think that we don't work hard enough. Like, bro, you can barely use your iPhone. Don't fucking tell me that we don't work hard enough.
I got news for you. If I had the opportunities that you guys had at your younger age, I'd have never done all the crap I did in terms of building a career and working 30 years on Wall Street. Like, you're not lazy, you're just smarter. You have options. And I feel like that's something my generation doesn't understand. I'm Gen X. So they're all like, oh, these kids, they don't have it together. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have it together. I'm like, yeah, they do. They do. They didn't have to. There was only one road for me and my folks, like my
Right.
generation. You guys build your own. And that's A, a lot harder, but B, a lot more fun. And that, in my opinion, gets you to that life stage sooner. That's why you at 26 can have a grown adult conversation with someone twice your age because you've lived that life where you had to build it and do it and make it. And it was you doing you versus I just followed the color by numbers for the whole life. That's all it was. So like when I left Wall Street to go launch a consultancy, I'm like this close to being retired in a couple of years. Like people are like, why don't you just grit it out and finish it off? And I'm like, because the opportunity to build today is greater than we've ever seen. And why would I want to let this
Right.
one opportunity go by? But they don't understand.
You know what? I think that even when it comes to messaging, to refining a conversation, I think if you're ignorant and you choose to be ignorant, which is a fucking choice, by the way, which we could get into too. If you choose to be ignorant and you choose not to see opportunity, you're the one who's an idiot, not us.
Right. So I've had this conversation earlier this morning on LinkedIn. I had it back and forth. You may know this, but the McDonald's CEO tried to eat a big Archer sandwich and didn't look like he enjoyed his sandwich. So the
Right,
CEO, he's older than I am, up there
right.
trying to be cool with, and anyway, he got roasted for it. Right. So this has been on all over the Instagram's having a ball up with this one. This guy was point on LinkedIn was like, "Oh, you got to be willing to try." At least he tried. And I wrote back and was like, "Yeah, that's it. Like the success in life is about are you willing to take it on the chin and fail in public? And most people aren't because of ego. My generation, they're afraid to look stupid and they won't make videos of themselves. They don't write. They don't put themselves out there. Most of the guys on Wall Street, they're not on any social platforms.
The social media is not going anywhere.
No,
Newsflash for all the old timers out there, just to
it's
let you know.
not.
Billboards are going away. When's the last time you really seen a billboard? Never. Okay?
Never. Who cares? What's on it? I don't even know.
No one fucking knows, right? There's no billboards. Where are they getting their news? They're getting their news on this. When's the last time you saw somebody buy a paper from the paper stand?
Nope. Nope.
Exactly.
That's right.
Why? Because
So
you can pay $15 a month for the Wall Street Journal on your friggin' iPhone. Come on now, right? So, where are they getting their sources of information? They're getting it from this, right? So, if you don't learn how to adapt, you will be left behind, and that's not
100%.
our fault. That's yours. You
Yeah.
have a golden opportunity to actually sit there and learn. Just pay the money to have someone teach you.
Everyone's afraid of this AI shift. It's stealing jobs. It's going to end society, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is the greatest opportunity in the history of your life, all of us. This is a moment where you can build a company around a person, and AI tools are your workers. And, like, this is not something that you take lightly. Most people, like, if you ever looked at the data, something like 87% of the American public has never even played around with AI. And
Yeah.
that's just an example of it. I'm not pitching AI. I'm just saying like you have to be willing to trial and error. And social media was a good example of it. AI is an example, but like there are two types of people in the world. I don't want to look stupid or I know better.
There's
Or
so many
let's
of my clients, I'm sure you've had this too. Like people would come to you and you're like, I don't know if this sounds like me. Well, I'm not a therapist, so I don't know if this does sound like you. Was it something that you would say? No. Then it doesn't sound like you. That's how
it's
you just
hilarious.
answered your own question, bro. And that's what
So
it is like people they're ignorant. They're second questioning themselves. And then something that I'm going hard on is stop waiting to be perfect. Just fucking say it, dude.
you joke about the therapy, Sarah, but I run these like hot seats for people pitch me, and it's in group form, and you're in front of other people, and this is the whole idea of it is to put you under pressure. And people are like, it's total therapy. They're like, well, I'm not fully comfortable, and I'm like, that's the idea here. We're not here to make you
Yeah,
comfortable.
I'm
Like when you
supposed to be making you uncomfortable.
when you're selling, they're not going to be like, oh, are you comfortable enough to talk about what you got? People want to be coddled. It is therapy. Consulting
Oh
is
my
therapy.
God.
You know, I'm
I don't even
right.
know what to say, dude.
A lot of these folks, these founders, and I don't blame them. Like, I'm not looking down on them. I know it's hard. I get it. But like, so is going to the gym. It sucks.
Yes.
But guess what? That's how you build muscle.
Yeah. I built muscle. First of all, no one knows this about me, but like literally no sales training when I went to Saks and literally sold 110 grand in 8 months. And
That's
guess what
amazing.
they did? They trained me for 5 days and threw me on the floor and they said, "Go walk."
Yeah. That's
And I
most sales
figured it
companies,
out.
successful sales folks didn't get much sales training because these companies don't think they like, oh yeah, their sales, they'll figure it out. It's really a trial by fire. It's hard.
Yeah, it's trial by fire and it's really hard now. Had I stayed there for the whole year, I probably would have done almost 200,000, right? Because I
Wow.
literally quit right before Christmas. So dude, like you gotta try it under pressure. And if it doesn't
Yes.
work, refine. What did you learn from it? Like
That's it.
it's really not that far. Like I this is a really great analogy, but think of it like a refinery, right? Like you put gold or you put silver, you put bronze into a
Exactly what
refinery
it is.
and it turns piping hot red and then you get to mold it, right? So it's kind of like messaging, it's kind of like sales. If it doesn't work, go back, watch the tape again. If you got an AI note taker, which I would highly recommend to everyone listening to this, go back, listen to the tape, say, okay, this is where I think I really did right. This is where I think I fucked up. How do I change the part that I didn't do so well on and not have it happen again?
Yeah, 100%. And here's the thing, like I used when I train these guys, even like the senior like founders of these massive fintech companies, right down to the small little coaches, they're like, I understand what I did wrong. I've learned, like I used to teach them, here's what you've got to do. And then they'd be like, yeah, whatever. You get them in front on a hot seat in front of people, and now you start stuttering and mumbling, and like all of a sudden they learn fast. Like that's what you got to do. It's not just I can practice in the mirror all day long with my speech until I get in front of a group of people and do it. It's hard.
Do you think that
That's
people just don't know how to think on their toes? Is that
yeah,
what you think
100%.
it is?
I think because they don't know what they're trying to say. It's not
Mm.
thinking on your toes. Like you're good at thinking on your toes, but when you know what you want to say, you just said to me earlier, you rattled off some LinkedIn piece that was amazing. That when you know what you want to say, you don't need to think on your toes. It's in my head. I just want to get this out, and that's how selling should be, calmly, but essentially, this is going to help you. Here's why. Bang, 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 bang. When it makes sense to the other person, they're like, you know what? Tell me more about that. most people are up there and they're like, well, we've got all these great features and I can really help you get to $1 million. And I've got all this stuff. And they sell capacity. I can do these things for you. I can coach you. I can do your copy. I can do whatever versus urgency. You, the prospect, are losing money because you don't have my services running your copy, helping you sell, whatever it is. So selling is just helping them see their situation. And that's not twisting it. That's not trying to persuade them. It's here's the reality. You're not doing as well as you think because you're lacking these areas. And I do those things. And then when you can convey that in a very orderly way, calmly, they're going to be like, then lean in. Or I don't have that problem, Sarah. That's not for me. I'm not looking for copy help. Okay,
Cool.
got it. Then the goal of a pitch is not to convince you. It's to get you in or out. It's to filter you. And people don't understand that.
Well, I don't know
That's
what
why
to
we're
say there.
talking.
Other than that's actually factually accurate. I think a lot of times that people sit there and they try to perfect a pitch all day. I didn't sit there in the mirror all day long and perfect my 10-second elevator pitch. I said, I'm like, I write content for coaches and consultants doing 200,000 to $1 million. I'm like, I prefer men because they're easier to work with.
Which is hilarious, by the way. We'll talk about that later. But you're right. So you knew what your value was and who you could help, and but you're clear on your avatar. You're clear on what you do for them. You're clear on those things. Most people aren't.
But it
Like
also, I think a lot of people, they don't take the time to learn on how to get clear though.
bingo. That is
And I think
exactly
that's where
right.
the real issue is, right? They don't
Yes.
sit there and ask themselves like, why the fuck is this not working? I keep putting myself out there and blah 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 blah. This is what I'm saying, but they don't sit there and refine. And that's what
Yep.
it comes back to, is the refining portion of it. So,
100%. But this is writing is thinking. And when you have to write it out, you have to think it through. And people
yeah.
are used to that. But when you're speaking, it's the same thing. And by the way, the whole concept of like a hook in content works in words too, and like in real life.
Yes.
You have and people don't know this. So like oftentimes my kids, for example, will be struggling to write an email to like the school or whatever, and they'll be
Mhm.
like, "Can you look at this and help me make this better?" And I'll look at it, I'm like, "What are you trying to say?" Well, they're not really clear. I'm like, "Stop writing. What are you trying
Yeah.
to do here? Like, what is the outcome you wish?" Before I go into any sales situation, I'm gonna go meet someone for a cup of coffee. I'm going for a job interview, whatever. I will say, what is the outcome I want? I'm very clear on it. People don't start in that moment. And that's what you have to do with the copywriting, I'm sure, with the selling, all of that stuff. It's business.
It's about being definitive, I think. Being like definitely knowing what you want, right? And I think a lot of people
Right.
just don't. They don't know what they want. And they get into business thinking like, yeah, this is like you and I were talking about the other day. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, this is gonna go so fucking well until you're like literally broke, have no money. You're not making any money because you can't get clear on who your avatar is or what it is that you do and how to articulate it so somebody gets interested in what you do, right? And
Yep.
they don't know why like that's a problem and they don't know how to fix it. And they like I literally had somebody come to me once and brilliant, so smart. We'll give the guy that. I said, I don't know what you do because you're not picking one thing to talk about.
That's a common problem. That's more common than you know. Here's the thing though, you're good at a lot of things. Like you know how to sell, you know how to write, you're good with people, you're good at reading a room. These are all skills. You have to pick one, go all in on it, and be like, I can do all these things, but here's what I do to help people.
Right,
And folks my age, especially if they've got a few years under them, struggle with that even more. Like you have
right,
to, yeah, I can be a coach. For a while I was doing copywriting, but for like a week, I was doing ghostwriting for CEOs on Wall Street. That was fun, but like then I was doing. After a while, I'm like, okay, what am I? You gotta sit down
right,
and be like, what's the best value I can bring to someone,
right.
and expand on it later.
Writing for sales actually is not that much different as if you're actually having a sales conversation. Okay, so copywriting for sales is really not that hard. I do it in a way that if I write something, it's like I'm actually talking to you. We assess
That's
your current
perfect.
situation, and then I bring you through a storyboard with psychology involved with it, and then bring you to the desired whatever it is I want you to do, whether that's a webinar, a call, get a free ebook, whatever the case may be, whatever desired goal it is, it's at the bottom, right? Do I
Right.
want you to leave a comment? Do I want you to leave a reaction? Right? It's all designed, measured, right? So if there's no outcome that you have in your head, being like, oh, damn, let me write a hook like this and let me structure a post like this and let somebody comment like this. If there's no desired outcome, you're what the fuck are you doing this for?
Yep.
Seriously, you're sitting
Yep.
here busting balls and wasting time.
I'm going to expand on that too, because you know your outcome, number one, that is very important. And we just talked about it. Number two, though, there's a process. I'm sure you have your process of how you
Mhm.
write and do copy. And I don't know it. I'm not, that's not what I do. For sales, there sure as hell is a process. So, like, you have to know your thing, the outcome you deliver, what is the process by which you deliver it. There's a framework that I often use called PPO. It's problem,
Okay.
process, outcome. Problem is whenever you communicate in sales, and probably copy too, this is the problem I solve. Many founders have difficulty explaining the value of what they do. That's the
Mm.
problem. The process is I walk them through a couple of days training, blah, 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 whatever. We do hot seats weekly. I don't know, you do whatever. And then the outcome is, and so now you can convey your value in a very smooth way. PPO. People don't take a moment to sit down and apply that to themselves. Like, okay, here's the problem I solve. I'm going to say it in this way. Here's the process by which I help them get there, and then this is the outcome they get from it. That is, oh, that's how to sell in everything, and I don't care what your product or service is. And
Let me
it's
ask you something. What do you think about people when they have like LinkedIn bios, like you know what I'm talking about, like the
yeah, I know.
subheading, right? So if you look at mine, it's controversial copywriter on it. That's the title that I name myself, right?
Yep.
Since everybody loves to have my name in their mouth. And then I actually tell people what I do. Coaches, consultants, write clearer messaging, right? Lead performance-based lead generation. Correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
very clear. That
Night and
illustrates
day.
you perfectly. It's what
There's no way you can fuck that up, right?
that is your skill in action, is what that is.
Exactly. Why is it when I go and look at something like, I don't know, I go look at somebody else's profile, I don't understand what it is. Why do you think it is? And who is instructing these people to write like that?
Writing is thinking. They haven't thought it through what they're trying to say. Your LinkedIn banner is the best real estate in the world. People will give you 1 second on that, and that's it. If they don't get the outcome you deliver in seconds, you've wasted it. It's over. And I'm not even a content guy in that regard, but like, there's a whole business around this, the cottage industry of LinkedIn and how to present it. But here's the bottom line: you have to know what is the what does Hormozy call it? The dream outcome.
Yeah.
You have to know the dream outcome you deliver to someone and get that across within seconds. So what does that mean? Everything from colors and hues and tones, clarity is more important than clever. So you are very good at this, Sarah. This is what you do for a living. You get it across in the banner that this is what I do for people. Most folks are like, we help companies make more money. We deliver
Great. Most
executive.
companies do that anyway. Pick another thing, buddy.
In my world of the technology folks that I help, they're always like, we optimize workflows for more effective deliveries. And you're like, what is this,
What
like
the fuck is that? That's
FedEx?
like Chinese to me. Like,
Right. And I'm like, well, I'm in the business and I don't understand what you do. Explain to me in war. And then like, oh, they'll tell you right there, like in person, it comes right out. But that's not what they say. So yeah, you're right. LinkedIn, there's a whole business around. No one knows the exact secret sauce. So all these kids pop up, and they are mostly kids, and they'll be like, "Oh, I can help you get that thing right," and it's not. They're just I don't know where they're getting their information from. But LinkedIn is a mess.
it's a disaster, dude. And I saw something on I was like doom scrolling on Instagram the other night. And it was like, if you pick one platform, you pick one thing that you're good at, you pick one offer, you make one offer, and you do all of that for a year, I swear to God, you'll be a millionaire.
100%. I agree with that because
It's
that's very
it's
tight,
the
targeted, and simple.
5-1 method I heard about, and I was like, holy shit, that's brilliant. I
Yeah,
was
but
like,
this is the thing. One avatar. Who's your customer? Everyone's my customer. Who
no,
do you help? Oh, I can help everybody.
no,
I know, but I'm like, that's what they think. They're like, well, what do you do for them? I can do a lot of things for you. This is the
no.
problem.
No, and that's why I ask people because I can tell immediately whether or not you're going to be a good client because when I'm writing for you, need to know who I'm writing to, right? I need
Yeah.
to know who I'm writing to as far as your audience is concerned and who you're trying to attract. And if you can't tell me that, we
But you
ain't a fit
probably
for
run into that all the
anything.
time, right? They probably say to you like, yeah, they're not, it becomes pretty evident right away that they don't know who they're trying to reach.
And that's why a lot of entrepreneurs, sorry to say this, you're fucking broke because you can't get specific about it.
Right. But because you have to commit and they don't want to cut off any potential revenue, right? Why,
Sweetie,
why shut down?
this isn't like, oh, like you're in a relationship and you're about to break up with your ex. No. Make a decision. That's it. You want to get rich? Guess what? That comes with specific, like being specific. Okay?
Right.
Like,
But that's the thing. Like, these companies just want to make money when really they should be helping folks out. In other words, the relationship building aspect is where the money comes from, in my opinion. And you're doing it through copy. Like, that builds relationship. That's perfectly fine.
yeah,
But the idea of like, well, I just need your money, that transaction mindset comes across. People can tell.
yeah. Because people can smell when you're desperate.
Oh God.
And
They call
then
that commission
they'll take
breath in the
advantage
business
of
world.
you. That's another conversation for another day.
Yeah, you could totally tell. People see people's BS filter. They know. They know.
Yes,
It's not, but they think that they can fool you.
dude.
People are like, well, if I use the right words or the right approach, like, you know who are good people and who are not. Like, humans are very good at sniffing that out.
Yes, dude. And you know what? Clear as fucking day for everyone about to watch this. Guess what? The bigger the word, the more they don't understand.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay?
That's a
No
great, you're
one
right.
wants a dictionary and or thesaurus when you're reading a post. Make it simple. And Mark, you know exactly what I'm talking about,
I know
especially
exactly
when it
what you
comes
mean.
to elevator pitches, dude.
These elevated pitches will stretch on and on and on. I'm like, guy, you got like 13 seconds
Am
to
I
get this
reading a
person.
Bible? No.
Right. I
Like,
just want to know. So this is what I explain to people. In the back of anyone's mind whom you will ever meet is this unspoken question of, can I benefit from this person? Can they help me in some way?
right,
Are they a potential business partner, a mate? Are they a potential money lender? Like, is there any way? But they
right.
won't
Good
say
referral
that.
partner. Yeah,
Right. But you have to touch on that. This is like human to human animal thing. You have to be like, I help people with their copy or I help people sell their value better, whatever. And they're going to be, it's going to click and they'll say, oh, I need that or I don't need that. Or I know someone who needs that. But that's a whole process that like when I've got the big words flowing and I sound really smart and I'm like executive of whatever, but you don't know what the hell I do, you've wasted opportunity with that person.
congratulations. You wasted not only money, time, and energy, you also wasted someone's brain power to understand you.
Right. People don't want to take time to figure you out in copy or in person.
And I think that's a big major issue that people are not willing to admit right now. And that, people are like, oh, yeah, I need somebody to understand me. I'm like, you know how they understand you? With simplicity.
Yep. Yeah.
No one cares about you using a dictionary, and no one definitely cares about you using a thesaurus and trying to find a similar word for it. Just use plain words.
The model I like to explain to people is that the way a hook works, everyone gets that concept. You have 10 seconds to hook them, whatever, three
Yes.
seconds. You do that the same thing in sales, but then you have another, say, 60 seconds if they're interested. If they're not interested, it's over. And you just thank them and whatever. But you tell me more about that, Sarah. You do copy. What do you mean? Like, how do you work with companies?
Yeah.
Now, the clock restarts. Now you have 60 more seconds. And they don't want to sit there and listen for 5 minutes. So you now have to have mapped all the words that you're going to say to them and at least the bullet point concepts that you get across in that window of time. At that point, they're either going to be like, huh, well, what do you charge? And now you get buyer questions. Or
Exactly.
right. But all that whole process, this isn't like luck. People don't just have a gift of gab. It's mapped. This is a discipline. You train on this the way you would train in the gym. And people don't do that. You're good at taking what they're trying to say and putting it into words because you know how
Right.
to do that. They don't know. So they'll hire you for that. Great. They need to learn that on all. And if you're going to run a business, that's your job. People
And
bring in
that's
sales.
why, and that's why even too, I'm like, if you can't art, I'm like, and that's why I tell them when I first onboard a client, I'm like, explain to me what you do. Because I can
Yeah.
tell whether or not I don't want your money and I'll refund you immediately, and or I'll do it on the sales call. Why? Because I'm testing you and I want to see whether or not you can articulate what you do to me. That way I can articulate to somebody else. And that's where everyone's like, oh, well, you think you're better. I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't think I'm better. I know better. And I know exactly what people want to hear. And that's why I'm asking you.
And I'll expand on that too. Clarity sells. You don't have to have massive
Yes.
success. People, right? You know this because you were in a similar angle of it. We do have two
Yes.
sides of the
Yes.
same coin. But like people that are mission driven and they are there to save the world, like they're going to save the whales or they're going to save the environment, like,
Save the
and you
world.
can, and you can feel it. Yeah, that's showing my Gen X, right? And like, but look, these people that are like, I'm into it, it comes across and that sells. That will connect with people because I don't
Yes.
really know what you do, but I know you're into it. And so I'm going to give you money for it. And that's where someone says things like, I guarantee you, like, if something goes wrong, I will have this cover for you. I will make it right. And you're like, all right, I'm going to bet on you. Like, I don't really know. I don't have full understanding of what you know, Sarah, but I'm bought on you. So here's my money. Right?
The amount of people, even like I've noticed this like with a lot of, I don't know what CRM you have, but I've used GHL in the past. And let me tell you something. I see a lot of agency owners, like specifically that white label GHL and then make their own agency with their own independent features. I'm like, just tell me you have GHL with independent features. What independent features make it different than regular GHL? Boom.
Yes.
Here's $100. Put it
Yep.
on this card, and if the card changes, I'll let you know.
We were just talking about this before we start recording. Different is better than better. I want to know how you're different. I want to know the distinctive angle of you. And this applies to writing, it applies to speaking, it applies to all of it because everyone's good at something. And I don't
Yeah,
want to just be better than the guy at the same thing. It's if I come at this from 30 years of sales in high stakes deals, that makes me distinct in what I do.
right,
Okay. That doesn't mean I'm better than anyone. It just means
right.
that this is how I will approach the thought process. You want to know that.
And I
And they
think
want to know that about you.
right, and I think the more that somebody's got money, the more they don't like their time being wasted. And that's,
100%.
I was talking to a prospect, literally, he called me this morning and he's like, yeah, we're gonna have a meeting on Monday. I'm gonna send you a lot of other things that like I want you to look at, and then you can come up a price with a proposal over the weekend for me. I was like, oh, we're having a very different conversation now. And that's a buyer situation, right? You got
100%.
me. That's a buyer. He's got money because he told me that his business is in Brickell, right? That's a very different conversation. People that have money don't like their time being wasted. And I'm telling everybody right now, I don't give a shit if you're 60 years old and you just started a business or you're my age and you're starting a business. This is what I've noticed about working with high-end people. They don't like being wasted. They like their time being used very valuably. So, when it comes to presenting the outcome, which you should be selling anyway, versus the features, because that shit never works. Sell the outcome, and when you're doing that, that should take you 30 minutes.
Yep.
No more than that.
I'll give you an example of this. You know how to change the oil in your car.
Yes,
You're not going to go, you're going to go to Jiffy Lube because you don't feel like spending an hour in your driveway getting
right. And it's
greasy.
gonna cost you 200 bucks. But okay.
Exactly. I have someone mows my lawn. I live in a house and I could save money by mowing my own lawn. But guess what? I'd make more money working with clients to pay the guy to mow my lawn.
Right.
People think in terms of ROI. What is my
Time
time
effective
worth?
analysis.
What's that?
Time effective analysis,
I
right?
love
So
it. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. But that's not what people are taught. Like they understand that, oh, well, it's I'll save a few bucks. These are the folks who stand in line for like to save 20% at some like clothing sale. Like that's not a good use of your time. And wealthy people don't think that way.
you know what? I've been so fortunate enough to meet incredible, very, very wealthy individuals in my life. I have a mentor of mine who used to be Miss Albania, has compete in pageants, modeled all throughout the world.
Wow.
I've had, a mentor of mine who used to literally work at Hermes. I've had a mentor of mine that hired me who is now selling $3.5 million homes too. I
It's
have
amazing.
I know people that are billionaires. I know people on Netflix. Like I'm a very, very well set up 26-year-old. I'm not some fucking kid, right? But how did I get there? I knew how to talk to people.
Yes, that's it. You
I
know how
knew
to
how to
build
talk to people.
relationships.
Yeah,
That's this comes down at the end of the day to can you build rapport with folks and do they trust you? And if they
right?
do, they're going to want to do business with you. They'll find an excuse.
Exactly. And that's when you know how to talk to people, that takes you fun. Dude, the articulation of talking to people makes you fucking wealthy. That's
Yes.
and don't talk to people at the bottom. Go find people that are successful, especially if you're young and they see you hustling because they're more inclined to help you.
Yeah. This is my thesis on the AI developments. Like at the end of the day, it comes full circle back to communication, and not because I'm old school Gen X guy. It's because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And there has
Yes.
to be like that's not going to go away. That's Dale Carnegie How to Win Friends and Influence People, 1926. That's going to always be the case, even when my agentive AI is going after yours, and we're going to interact. Like at the end of the day, before money transacts, I got to know who this person is, and so do you.
And that's why I think a lot of people they gravitate towards my content too because they're getting to know me without even having me listen to the they could go listen to the podcast and know exactly how I talk, right? But They're not gonna go sit there and be like, oh yeah, like let me just listen to her all day. They're gonna go to a post and then they're gonna look at the style in which how I write and what I say, right? It's very relatable. I'm actually a real human being. That's how you know I'm writing it myself. And also, a lot of people don't know this. I'll say this. I do have an AI. I have a custom made GBT that I use, and you would never even know why, because I do
I
editing.
have no problem with AI. I think you should be. You'd be foolish not to have it.
Right, because it
But
expedites
I'll
my
tell you.
process.
But I'll tell an anecdote about you, which supports your point. Before we had this podcast, you chatted with me. We met in just to, I guess, to feel each other out. And in that meeting, you went out of your way to put me in touch with other people who would be potentials for my service.
Right,
And I had conversations. That was not anything you were being paid to do. That was not something that I asked you to do. You did that because that's just how you operate.
right,
And I walked out of there thinking, number one, top shelf. She's a quality operator. Number two, how can I repay the favor? And number three, I don't care how you do your copywriting. I haven't looked at the specifics of it. I would hire you because I'm bought in on you. Like
right.
I'm sure you're competent because you've been doing this for a while.
Right.
And so
And
you
and not only that, like when I do, and this is for everyone, and I actually have a meeting with somebody. I thought I was gonna take advisory shares for this meeting. I'm actually not. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give him a year for free, but I'm gonna have one session with him once a month and they can ask me what the fuck it is that they want. Why? Because of the fact that I've had so many people in the last 2 years go out of their way and help me for free. And that's
that's it.
called paying it forward and giving it back. I have a mentee. I don't charge her anything. I give her my entire framework of how I write copy. I give her my entire GBT. Anytime I make an edit to my GBT, I give her the new link and the new version of it, right? Because of the fact that sometimes it doesn't cost you anything not to be an asshole.
Yep. So I want to reveal a little bit more about you, what kind of person you are. I said to you in private afterwards, hey, I want to thank you for the conversations I had with these other folks. Let me know how I can ever return the favor. And you said to me, just pay it forward to someone else. You weren't even looking for you. You weren't saying like, I need, you were just like, this is how good people help good people. And I was like, my kind of person. She's right.
And you know what? I'm a firm believer in karma. I always believe that it will always come back
Oh,
to me.
heck
But
yeah.
this is how I've always been. First of all, my parents used to beat the shit out of me if I was an asshole. Okay.
Right.
Sorry.
Good.
But also
I,
too, like I was raised to be kind. I wasn't treated nice as a kid too, obviously in school. And like, you know what? It doesn't kill you to be nice to someone. So just do it. And you feel
100%.
good. You feel good all the time. You don't have any of that nasty shit laying around within you, being like, yeah, I want this person to fail. I want this person to fail. And like, guess what? If you're that kind of person, you're pathetic and a coward. And you probably shouldn't be in business. Sorry to say that, but I'm not like that. And I would rather
You're,
make less money and be a good human being versus being a shithead and making $50 million. I would rather be a person that's honest and integritous and genuine. That's who I
I'll tell
prefer
you,
to be.
I love that. One of the lessons I took from me from Wall Street was it's not how much money you made, it's what you became along the way. Because I watched a lot of friends of mine become bad people. And
Right.
you talk about karma. There's nothing woo-woo about karma. Karma, you treat people right and they want to treat you right, and it somehow works out down the road. Like shocker, of course. That's karma's a real thing. Like people know what's up, and then people get theirs when they are owed it, and good and bad.
Here's the thing too is like I've been debating about writing something like this. I'm like, you want to be rude, you're gonna have it come back to you. You're gonna have it come back because
It always
this
does.
day and age, let me tell you something, you are more at risk for being exposed if you're an asshole. Because people have 256 gigabytes on storage on this thing, and guess what? All it takes is a screenshot.
So I'll tell you, this used to happen both in. I've seen this both examples here. When I was working on Wall Street, there would always be a phone call would come in and be like, "Hey, it's a friend of mine at another firm. We're thinking about hiring some kid, somebody that I had worked with previous.
Right.
What do you think of him?" And I'd either be like, you never say anything bad about someone. You'd always be like, "Who is it? Sarah Chan? She's unbelievable. You want her on your team. She's the best." Or Sarah Chan? Yeah, no, she's all right. And they
Yeah.
were like, got it. And that was the call.
That
And this happens, by the way, in the consulting world too. What do you think of this customer? What do you think of this vendor? It's either like 100% you want that, or no, no, yeah, we did some business together. And that happens behind the scenes. You'll never be told about it. It happens throughout life. You've been involved, I'm sure, where someone's like, "What do you think of so and so?" And you're like, "Let me tell you what I think of so and so."
yeah, no,
People,
I have. I've been there.
yeah, of course. People don't realize that happens. There's a whole back channel to life.
And guess what? People are going to be a lot more aggressive now. Why? Because AI is taking their jobs, so they're going to get desperate, right?
Yep.
And that's just a fact. Sorry to say that. We might have a very, very, very big difference of opinion, but AI will take some jobs for sure. No doubt in my
I
mind.
think AI is going to take a ton of jobs. I think it's going to open up opportunities. Like if you're just doing
If you don't
the
learn how to
late,
adapt to AI, you're
the
going to be
model
out of a
of
job.
time for money is over. And
Right.
that's great. Thank the good Lord. Like who the hell wants to be working in the fields?
Oh
So
no.
if I got machines that could do this, now the question is, to your point, Sarah, are these people taking advantage? And most of them are not.
That's what it
But
is,
that's a
right? You
choice.
said a statistic, 87% of the Americans don't know how to use
They're
AI
waiting.
correctly.
I have friends of mine that still work on Wall Street. They're like, yeah, my company's not teaching me how to use the AI stuff. I'm like, your company's never going to teach you how to use. They're going to teach you to replace you. They're not going to actually. They
Right.
don't want you to do well.
Right, because obviously, like it's up to you. And by the way, just so everybody's crystal clear about this, AI isn't just about like how well you can use it, it's about how well you can write a prompt. That's what
Yes,
it is.
I want to expand on that. That's a great point. People think you get the right answer from AI, but the
Right.
winners know to ask the right question, and that's the
Hmm.
prompt. People are like, well, it's kind of like Google. It's not like Google at all.
Nope.
It's a form of critical thinking. When I prompt my thing and you prompt your thing, who thought that through the best gets the better answer. And that's what folks don't understand, that there's a skill there.
Yeah. And you know what, dude? I think, and just to wrap up a little bit, like, let me tell you something. Like, if you don't understand how to write a prompt, you need to go start taking courses or you're going to be out of a job in the next 2 years. I'm telling you right now, and that's an official warning from me. And
Yeah, the best way is to just monkey around with it. People don't want to, they don't want to. They don't understand why they
well,
need to.
that's because a lot of people are freaking lazy. When they come home from their job, they're 9 to 5, they want to do is sit on the couch and have a beer and not think about work and or do anything outside of the comfort of their 9 to 5, right? So they're very
80/20 rule.
comfortable.
80% of the people don't become millionaires. 80% of the people aren't in shape. 80% of the people, 80/20 rule. It's a choice. Same with AI.
The choice is you either adapt or you get left behind. There's only two. There's no gray area with that crap. Okay.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, to your point, you're absolutely right. You're either fit and you're smart and you're in shape and you're doing this and you're doing that and you're learning and you're adapting, you're moving, and or you're not and you're gonna be at home playing Xbox, playing a PlayStation, I don't know, getting fat, not doing anything productive with your life. And you know what? When you can't wake up one day and be like, oh yeah, like I didn't do all that, so like I hate the world and I'm the victim. No, buddy, you're not a victim. And I said this on a couple different podcasts. I said everybody's on the same playing field for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
And
And you know what? And
we
the upside
all
to all
have
this,
this.
you're right. You're 100% right. The upside to this is the greatest opportunity moment in history, and people will. It's so easy to get ahead now. It's so easy, and I'm not making it like it's just flip a switch, but most people are not going to do anything, and we're at a moment of change, the elbow hockey stick moment, and you have to take advantage because you're not going to have this shot in 5 years. This is going to be different, and it's going to be harder.
This thing is the best thing that was ever created, and it's also the worst thing that was ever created because it created a hell of a lot more lazy people, but it created a hell of a lot more rich people, especially at my age.
So this is down to how do you use consume content? I always say that you're either on team producer or team consumer. If you're making content and driving business for yourself, great. If you're sitting there scrolling, doom scrolling all night long, and people choose that too. It's the same thing as whether you eat potato chips on the couch.
We could talk about that all day and redoing your algorithm, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Mark, tell everybody where they can find you.
I appreciate that. I'm on LinkedIn, Marc Angelos, and my website right now. Invictus is my company. Trust Driven Sales is the performance lab I referenced, which is basically if you want a hot seat and learn how to master your pitch, that's what I do there.
Awesome. And last question, what does unbreakable mean to you?
Unbreakable means nonstop grit.
Love that. Mark, thank you for your time, brother. Appreciate you being
Thanks for
here.
this has been a wonderful conversation, Sarah. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Guys, until next time.